Welcome to Estoril in Portugal for the Adventure Racing World Championships of 2009. This is a multi-sport event where navigation is crucial, but the key factor here is endurance, and it's on a scale that is incomprehensible. There are 59 teams on the start sheet for this year's World Championships, and that makes it the biggest and the strongest field ever assembled for this sort of race.
Brazil! The main race will be a continuous 900-kilometre journey, taking in the sights and sounds of ancient and natural Portugal. Starting a short distance from Lisbon at Estoril on the Portuguese Riviera, the course will take teams into the central regions of Lusitania, the Land of Light, and the Schist Villages. It will cross the spectacular landscapes of the Cascais Natural Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, visit ancient villages, dinosaur footprints, and Moorish castles. Julius Caesar's armies once came to this land with the intention of mining gold, but were beaten by the severity of the terrain. Our 59 invading teams will have to show greater hunger for riches and success than the Romans if they want to return to the Atlantic coast here as winners in 5 or 6 days' time. Stage 1 takes place here alongside the Atlantic in the Cascais region. The favourites to take the world title are the Galacticos of adventure racing, Team Nike. They're multiple winners of every major event, past and present. Colorado-based Mike Closer, a former world champion mountain biker, is the team captain.
You know, I think the motivation for me is still just the lure of competition and the possibility of winning and I guess the excitement that comes with winning. And for me, it's pretty much about the winning factor that draws me back to these events year after year.
Navigator Chris Vaughan is one of 2 New Zealanders in the team, alongside Americans Closer and Monique Merrill.
A lot of the top teams, you know, they don't always live in the same area, so it's hard to get together and train together, but I don't see it as a problem. We know what we have to do. We all prepare as the best of our abilities, and you know, we trust in each other and the skills we all bring to the team.
It's a mark of the respect given to Nike that they're the favourites, in spite of the fact that they're not the defending champions. That honour belongs to the New Zealanders, Team Orion Health. Also watch out for the Spaniards, Buff Thermocool, the French, Quechua, and the Scandinavians like Lundhags and Explore Sweden. With a large strategic element to this race, the fast-thinking Brits of Helly Hensen Prunesco also shine. The first 6-hour stage is tough, but little more than an opportunity for psychological one-upmanship as they take in the spectacular coastline. The real battle starts tomorrow after a last night's rest. Then it will be all out for 5 days, 24 hours a day. There'll be 23,000 metres of climbing on bike and foot, enough to climb Everest from sea level to summit almost 3 times, as well as kayaking and grueling rope work on a course that starts here in the region of Portugal's Schist Villages at Castelo Lusa.
Yesterday was little more than a warm-up that's put the teams into some sort of a pecking order. When they start today, they're going all out for over 5 days. Just imagine, when you go to work on Monday morning, they'll be starting racing. They'll be going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. When you finish work on Friday, they're still going. They won't stop until 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. That's over 122 hours of all-out action.
Each year, the Adventure Racing World Championships is hosted at an established world-class event, and it's the first time that Portugal's XBD race has held the championship. It's a great way to showcase the country, and early on the route takes the teams through the multitude of schist villages on the mountainsides. These traditional villages in central Portugal have recently been redeveloped for tourism, maintaining their ancient character while also providing craft workshops, restaurants and essential internet connections. A great place to get away from it all, and with the only rush hour in living memory happening about now. Helly Hensen's Tom Gibbs is keeping the Brits well up in the pack.
Guys, we're going on the trail.
But it's Nike, who always seem to cover the ground fastest with least effort, who lead at the moment. Their great rivals, the all-Kiwi Team Orion, are close behind. They're the defending world champions and justify their small country's reputation for producing formidable adventure races.
We're all pretty strong in all the disciplines. From New Zealand, we're all pretty good kayakers. And I mean, I guess you just need, everyone's got to have a good base in all running, trekking, biking and kayaking. So we have that with the teamwork and good navigation, and then you just need a little bit of luck and hopefully get you there.
Nike and Orion are out in front then, but Helly Hensen have had their moment of glory too.
Yeah, we were first for 10 minutes. Nah, it's not actually that long. Yeah, maybe 10 minutes. And then we've just sort of settled into our own pace.
Yeah, we're all a bit sore.
Even Nike hurt early on, but there are still 5 days to go on those sore legs before the first teams arrive at the finish, which they must reach within 127 hours of the start. In the meantime, they have to get as many of these checkpoints as possible over a 900-kilometre course, while also beating the deadlines at established cut-off points. Because of the cut-offs, it will be almost impossible to get every checkpoint on the route, and the decision-making process about which ones to miss adds a tactical element to the race. At the moment, Nike and Orion are racing head-to-head and getting all the checkpoints, as are many other top teams, but this will change later on when fatigue sets in and the pace drops.
I mean, you try and think too much about the opposition, because you really, I mean, while you can make some tactical decisions based on what others are doing, it's really about doing the best job you can for your team.
Well, I suppose it's definitely Nike. You know, they've been world champions before, and last year, it was a tough race for them, for us to gain the title. But there's a lot of teams here, and there's a lot of, you know, quite top teams that we see racing regularly in the World Series.
There are about half a dozen teams who are strong and experienced enough to win the World Championships. But this particular race is not just a matter of continuing without sleep and being as fast as possible.
There's potential for clever thinking to beat speed. So yeah, you might see some teams that are not so rated this chance really get some good results. So I think it'll be an interesting race in that respect.
Which is where Team Helly Hensen come in. The Brits are ranked in the top 10, but the format of this race especially could suit them, and they might go even better than expected.
Sounds quite complex. There's quite a lot of strategy at play, which would probably suit us. We're more of a thinking team than a super speedy team. I mean, we are relatively quick, I suppose. But I think that the race strategy will sort of help us a little bit. We've got Tom Gibbs on the team, who's just a master of this sort of stuff. He's won the Microsoft Challenge about 7 years in a row with Airbus, and his brain just works very well with this sort of thing. So he's going to be our secret weapon. We've got Nicola McLeod, who's really strong in the team, so we've got a really good girl, and she's very, very gritty, an army medic. And then me and Warren just do basically the general sort of carrying heavy kit and keeping everyone moving along, really.
Any sort of progress is painfully slow and treacherous on this canyoning section.
Don't stand here, man, just go!
It's early on in the race and vitally important to make your way through a tricky phase like this without injury or getting cold. All their reserves of strength will be required later on.